In today's lesson, we're going to be learning, in my opinion, one of the greatest intros of all time. This is Enter Sandman by Metallica. And the reason I think this is one of the best intros isn't just because it's an iconic riff, but it's because of the way it builds up. It starts so quiet, gradually builds, and then it really kicks in when it comes to the main riff. And it builds up kind of in 5 different stages, and we're going to break it down into 5 main riffs here. All right, so let's start off on this first riff. Again, it's going to be with a clean sound, and it's going to be very subtle. It's going to sound like this. And it literally repeats that 12 times at the start of the song. Now, what you'll notice is that I'm not playing all separate notes. It's the opposite of that. I'm holding fingers on where I can to ensure that the notes run into each other. On a piece of music that would say let ring above, because you're letting all the notes ring into each other. So we're actually going to start off, before we even play the first note, by putting our 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the A string and your 1st finger on the 5th fret of the D string. Okay, so hold those fingers on. And then you're going to play the open low E string, and then you're going to play those 2 notes. Again, hearing them ring into each other. So I'll do that again, 0, 7, 5. But as soon as we've done that, we're then going to play with your 2nd finger, and you can take those fingers away, on the 6 of the low E string, and then 1st finger on the 5 on the low E string. And then you add that 3rd finger back onto the 7th fret of the A string. And that's kind of the whole riff here. All right, so if I do that slowly. Right, and now when you repeat the riff, it's going to be important to leave that finger on. You've added that 3rd finger back to the 7th fret of the A string, but it can stay on for the next repeat again, giving it that smooth sound. So if I play this a few times in a row, you can hear this. So it stays on there. Okay, and again, you're going to repeat that 12 times at the start of the song. So after we've done that 12 times, it kicks into this bit. Okay, so that's the next riff, and you'll notice we've got some heavy distortion going on here. So definitely change the tone on your amp at this point, or hit your foot switch or distortion pedal. But we're actually going to put on an E power chord by putting your 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. And then we're going to just hit the bottom 2 strings. So this is an E power chord or an E5 chord. And importantly, we're going to palm mute, okay? So you're going to put your side of your hand against just where the strings are starting here. Get that palm muted sound. If you're not sure how to do that, look up a tutorial for that. I might do one soon on my channel. But anyway, that's going to be an important part of this to get right. We're going to palm mute and we're going to play quavers, because it's great to count like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? Yeah, if you count properly, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, it's going to make it so much easier to know where you are within the riff and to break down these next few parts. So all we're doing, as you heard me do just then, is basically 7 palm muted strums here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But on the and, I'm going to slide up to the 7th fret of the A string like this. All right, now I'm sliding from fret 3, just because I like to use my 2nd finger here to slide. That's the most comfortable way for me. But it is one of those slides where you don't want to hear the 1st note and then slide up to it. You just want to play a note and slide straight up to the 7 on that and of the 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So once you've done that 4 times, the next riff is going to sound like this. All right, and it does that 4 times, okay, as well. So we're going to start off with 2 palm mutes on the E power chord, so it's just 2 this time, 1 and, but then on the 2 and, we're then going to slide up to the 7, same place as before, this time on the 2nd beat, but on the and, you're going to play the 6th fret of the low E string. So what you got is this, 1 and 2 and. Okay, I'll do that one more time slowly. Alright, but then once you've done that, you actually palm mute just the open low E string now 3 times. So that's essentially 3 and 4. But while you're doing that, you should get your fingers in position because we're now going to play an F power chord, just a 2-finger F power chord by having your first finger on the 1st fret of the low E string and your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, and you just give that 1 strum on the and of the 4, okay? So to put all of that together, you've got this, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, and again, does that 4 times. The next riff, again, very similar. This time it's times 8 and it's got 1 extra note. Let's listen to this. Okay, I'll do that again quickly. Alright, so yeah, you will notice that I'm essentially playing exactly the same part, but once I've played the 6, I'm sliding up to the 7, 6, I'm then playing a 5 on the low E string. And because I've added in that extra note, after that I'm just going to do 2 palm mutes on the E and then the power chord. So anyway, it sounds like this. Alright, so 7, 6, 5, 0, 0, power chord. Alright, let me do that a couple more times. So here's the 5th and final riff of the intro. This is where it properly kicks in and it sounds like this. Okay, so it starts off with 2 of those E power chords again. This time no palm muting at all. In fact, in this bar, the only note that's palm muted is the low E string, the open low E string that comes in right at the end of the bar. So it goes like this, 2 E power chords. And then yet again, we've got the slide up to the 7, 6, 5 on the low E string. So we got. Now after you've done that, just palm mute that E. You can hear, if you listen carefully to the track, that note is palm muted. So again, I'll play that again. Alright, now it does that 3 times in a row, so I'll do that now. Okay, then once you've done that though, you play a power chord, basically a G power chord on the 3rd fret of the low E string, and your 3rd finger is going to go on the 5th fret of the D string, so you've got this. No palm muting there, but now for the whole rest of this bar we are going to palm mute. We're going to play an open 0 on the low E string, so open E note, but then you're going to put your fingers down into an F sharp power chord, so we're on 2 and 4 now, but that same shape. You play that chord, but then you take it away, palm mute the 0 again, put it back on, but then you're going to go up to the 3rd fret again, and then back to the 2nd fret with the power chords. So that whole last passage is going to sound like this. Okay, and with the G power chord at the start. Alright, let me just do that one more time slowly, just so you can follow along. Okay, and then it plays that basically twice at the start. Sorry, at the end of the intro. So let me just play that twice in a row. But again, I'll slow it right down. So there we go, those are the 5 riffs we're going to need to correctly play this intro. Just to do a quick summary of the order of these riffs, you start with riff 1, 12 times, riff 2, where the distortion kicks in 4 times, riff 3, 4 times, goes into riff 4, 8 times, and then when it kicks into the main riff, it just does that twice. So that is the full order of the song. So thank you very much. I hope you found this helpful. And do let me know in the comments if you've got any questions or if there's any requests for future lessons, because I'm always looking for ideas for those. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel, like the video, it all goes a long way. But anyway, thanks very much and I'll see you next time.